Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and place to be, it's Deb C. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, happy Thursday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week and a great day. It is late when I'm making this. It's like 8:02 on Thursday, and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is going on right now, but we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And yeah, this happened on Tuesday, but there's been a lot going on here, so I have not been able to cover it till today. So let's jump right in. The question to Meredith was, what was your reaction to all the other women having a different reaction to what you did on the plane? Specifically, what was your reaction to Mary sitting you down? And she was like, well, I don't understand. I don't understand why she sat me down. I don't understand why they all said I did this. Brittany, okay, so remember Brittany had left. She had stormed out. And so now she came back in and she's like, hello. And Meredith and Mary are trying to talk everything out. And Brittany comes out and says, Meredith, hello, Meredith. And then says, I'm sorry, tells her, she apologizes. And then she tells Meredith to shut the fuck up. And then says, we're moving forward, hooray. So, you guys see what happens? Like when I go like this, you can see me clearly, but then when I go like this, it turns into like a different, like a sepia tone. See what I mean? Like, look, and then look. Like, what is that? I don't know. It's gonna look like this most of the time. I'm not a fan of that, but I don't know. Okay, so, and then they go back to the discussion. Basically, Meredith is continuing down the path of, she didn't say anything to Brittany. She didn't do what they said she did to Brittany. She says that she vented to a friend. She vented to Lisa. She did say she had a drink beforehand, before she got on the plane, but just one. And she said she went to sleep. She watched a movie. She went to sleep. She never yelled at Brittany. So then right in the middle of that, here comes Lisa crying and talking about how she was falsely accused on the boat of being the one who leaks information. That was her distracting, because I was like, what does this have to do with anything? So yeah, she's crying and she starts screaming and yelling about how I'm not going to own up to things that I haven't effing done and this and that. And, Heather is like, yeah, I do believe that you're the one who does this. But listen, I still want to be friends with you. Why would you want to be friends with somebody like that? If she's going to leak all your shit, if she's going to leak shit about you, why would you want to be her friend? I don't understand that. I will never understand that. If somebody does some shitty shit to you, why would you want to be their friends? Why? Also, okay, Meredith, the question came up about like, what do you guys think about Meredith bringing a drug test? And Meredith was like, listen, I have a drug test right now. I have one right now. I'll take it at any time. Anytime you want me to take it, I'll take it. Because that when you called me, Whitney, when you called me a pill popper and an alcoholic, that was damaging to my business, really to her name, meaning her business. And does she just walk around all the time with like drug tests now? She's like, I'll take one every day. Whitney says, and a viewer did write a question saying, don't you think it's kind of hypocritical and kind of terrible that you called Meredith a pill popper and an alcoholic when your father had addiction issues? And Whitney was like, listen, I was wrong for saying that. I was wrong for calling her an alcoholic and a pill popper, But the reason why I did it was because basically was because Whitney was upset that Meredith called her a liar. And then when you talk about the pill popping, then to deflect, then, which Meredith then says, well, basically like, if I'm a pill popper, then what are you, Heather? Because she's like, Heather, you're the one that basically gave me drugs. And they showed a flashback to her talking about giving a benzo to Meredith during like season 4 because Monica was there. Which, by the way, Monica Garcia on her podcast did mention that Heather Gay is the one that gives out all the pills. And Heather was like, yeah, I give out pills, but they were like a sleeping pill or a pill, like I give you a pill in the boat for motion sickness. But also in the confessional, Meredith was like, well, if they want to talk about my pills, then let's talk about their pills. I saw a lot of pills in Brittany's bag. Listen, here's the thing. Let's not shame people on pills because some of these pills may very well be prescription pills. So please don't go about shaming people for like anxiety meds or any kind of mental health meds, or how do you know what the meds are? Maybe it's for a heart issue. Maybe it's for blood pressure. Maybe it's a, for a mental health issue, anxiety, whatever. Who cares? I mean, if you have to take pills, then you have to take pills. Okay, Whitney, when we're talking about Whitney's business. So Whitney did get back Wild Rose Beauty. Wild Rose Beauty is all her own. She owns it solo. But she did have to buy back like all of her inventory. The question was, do you still resent Justin? I'm going to tell you, there was a long pause, a really long pause. She said she doesn't. I think she still does. The question, will you be able to bounce back? You and Justin be able to bounce back? And she said, there's a possibility. And when you see how she acts later on, I don't know that they're in that great of a spot. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, what else? Okay, Heather. Heather is absolutely loving being a empty nester. She's starting, this is like this is a whole nother chapter of her life for her. Brittany brought Olivia to BravoCon, but also Jared showed up at BravoCon. Was Olivia happy? Olivia was not happy. And I'm going to tell you this much. This woman is never going to pick her daughter over that man. Guaranteed never. Brittany said that she needs her life. She needs to have her life. And Olivia needs to feel like she's my number one. She should be your number one. She shouldn't have to feel like it. She should be your number one. I'm telling you, Brittany ain't never going to choose that child over that man. I'm saying it right now. Okay. There was the question, the question to Lisa, supposedly from a viewer, was how do you feel about John wanting to embarrass you or John embarrassing you? Listen, I don't think, when I say supposedly, I don't think a viewer wrote that. I don't think viewers thought that. When I saw that scene, I didn't take it as John was saying this to embarrass her. I took it as to be, listen, John Barlow is saying what is bothering him in their marriage. She doesn't listen to him. Like, she's already made up her mind before he's spoken. I don't feel like he was trying to embarrass her at all. And you know, Andy had said viewers thought that this scene showed that she doesn't take accountability and she doesn't listen. She's always right. She proves that by not listening to anybody. Like, people were trying to talk to her about it. She got out what she was saying, but when people were trying to tell her, she did. So that's just it. John Barlow was right. She doesn't listen. Okay, next was Bronwyn's clip package. Now, up to this point, listen, I agreed with giving Bronwyn the first chair because she did show a lot. She shared a lot about her life. A lot behind the scenes with her mom, with her dad. She opened up about her dad, her mother. She showed that cantankerous relationship with her mother, and she showed the relationship with her dad. She showed everything. Plus, I'm sorry, that opening takedown of Lisa in the very first episode of this season, that was epic. So I stand behind that, the decision to put her there. I had heard that she was given the first chair because she was going to announce this separation. Up until the third part, I don't know that Bronwyn had given like a first chair performance during the reunion, but this third part, this is where we get the meat of Bronwyn being like in the first chair, because up until this time, I would have probably flipped Heather and Bronwyn. But listen, Bronwyn, they played Bronwyn's clip package. We find out, it's so sad, just so sad that her dad, so the ladies get back from Greece, and then right after they get back, her father passes, which is so sad. He had dementia. She said he tripped and fell, and then a couple days after that, he was gone. She is never going to hear this, but I am so very sorry for the passing of your father. With dementia and with Alzheimer's, I always say that there's like, it almost feels like it's two deaths, because there's the death of the person that they were, you know, and then there's the physical death. So she ain't never going to see this, but I am so sorry for your loss, Bronwyn, and all my love and prayers and condolences go to you and your family. And she had said that Muzzy, she said it's actually good in a way that this happened, because Muzzy really wasn't accepting that he had dementia. And then when the father, you know, when her husband passed, she was like, it came out of nowhere. And Gwen and Bronwyn were like, it didn't come out of nowhere. It was like, it was there the whole time. And I'm wondering if Muzzy was just like in her mind, she knew that it was there, but maybe her mind was like telling her it wasn't, so that she could better deal with it, maybe, you know, because she also was going through a brain tumor. So maybe her mind just compartmentalized and shut that down so that she could go on living, so that she could, you know, travel through her own life. And now also about Muzzy. Listen, this is the worst thing. And you see, listen, Muzzy and Bronwyn there near the end of the season, they seemed like they were getting along very, very well. But then when you find out that like Muzzy had seen herself and at first and was like, oh, is this how I come off? And it, I guess maybe tried to do better. But then with the second conversation, and she had seen, Muzzy had seen all these memes come out and all these people talking badly about her. I get Bronwyn. Bronwyn was like, listen, I understand where everybody's coming from, but that's my mom. That's your mother. She knows that how she treats her isn't right. How Muzzy treats her isn't right, but still, that's your mom. That's the person that gave you life. But then to find out that so Muzzy sees what everybody is saying and then doubles down on her shitty behavior and blames Bronwyn for how fans are reacting. When it's the words that came out of Muzzy's mouth. Like, there wasn't a script. Bronwyn didn't write a script or anything that she had to read off of. Muzzy said that on her own, and yet she's blaming Bronwyn for how the fans are reacting to how she's behaving badly. Bronwyn didn't tell anybody. Bronwyn didn't send out, there's not a chat amongst Bronwyn stans where she was like, hey everybody, can you write shit? Can you talk bad shit about my mom? Because listen, I said some not so great things about her mother. The way she was talking to her, the way she had treated her in the past, and was still talking to her, I thought it was terrible. I thought it was horrendous. I thought it was heartbreaking. I thought it was terrible. Right? But if Bronwyn Newport would have been like, hey, can you stop talking about my mom? I'd be like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'll just tell you what I think. And then, yeah, sure. Bronwyn also says that between her and Muzzy, there is like a push and pull between the two of them because she thinks that her mom still resents the fact that she's no longer in the Mormon church. She's no longer Mormon. And Muzzy is just like, Muzzy acts the way that she acts because she's still in the church. It's very important to her. And she wants everybody in the church to know that I'm showing allegiance to the church. And I do not agree with what Bronwyn did. I would never do that. I don't think that's the thing to do. And that's her. That's not me. So choosing, which is insane, choosing the church over your daughter and choosing to act the way that she acted, because if she didn't, then people in the church would think badly of her. Who the hell cares? Who cares what people in the church would think of you? I would think that you would want to be there to support your daughter. But I guess I'm wrong. Okay, about Todd. So they're going to start talking about Todd. And Bronwyn's just like, okay, are you going to ask more about Todd? He's like, yes. She's like, okay, so listen, how do you want to handle this? Do you want me to start from where we're at now? Or do you want me to take it through the progression of the show? And he's like, whatever you want to do. So he hands the mic over to Bronwyn and she tells her story. So her and Todd are separated and it was her choice to separate. And what was the final straw? Well, the final straw, she said that she watched the show back. She watched herself say things that she never meant to say and said things that she wanted to do, things that she wasn't so sure that she wanted to do. Like when she said that she would be okay with an open marriage, she was clearly saying that to save her marriage. But she didn't want to do that. So she was really saying things to make her happy. But in fact, was she happy? I'm thinking she was not. She also said she felt very isolated because Todd didn't want to hear her talk about their problems. Like Todd was like, don't come to me about our problems. But also when she told Todd that she spoke to Whitney about their problems, he was pissed about that. So she couldn't talk to him and she couldn't talk to her friends. So who does she talk to? Like, okay, a therapist. Okay, but who's to say that he wouldn't be like, I don't want you talking to a therapist. So she felt very isolated. I understand that. She also says that he didn't feel respectful towards her anymore. And she felt like she was just PR for him. And she would always show up to support him in his choices. Even if they weren't her choices, she always showed up for him, but he was never there for her. I could see that. So Todd really didn't understand why she wanted to separate. Then he watched the show. He watched, I guess, every season. He opened a Twitter account. He read everything about himself. And it turns out he was decimated by what he heard. And as of the show, as of that air date, they were not living together. Like she is in Salt Lake City and he's in New York City. And she will not see him when she's there for the reunion. Like she won't go out to dinner with him or anything. And all of this hits Whitney like really hard because she identifies with Bronwyn because of the fact that there is an age gap between Bronwyn and Todd and one between Justin and Whitney. But she said the only difference, and she also feels kind of triggered because there's some problems between her and Justin that they're trying to work out. The only difference between Bronwyn's marriage and Whitney's marriage is that in her marriage, Whitney said she feels like the fuck up. Like she feels like she's the one that's screwing it up. Honestly, and her getting so like crying and everything, that to me also shows that they are going through some tough times right now, Whitney and Justin. Bronwyn says that Todd watched the show and he was unaware that this is how this is how she felt and that this is how he acted, which I don't understand how you wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, I was going to say, I don't understand how you wouldn't see that this is how you acted. I mean, he obviously thought that was okay to act that way. The question is, did the show break you up? Well, the show did not break them up, but it did shine a light on the fact that they were growing apart. And this didn't break them up, but it did speed it. It did speed it up. Listen, I'm going to tell you. She turned 40. Wash that man right out of your hair, Bronwyn. This is a whole new chapter. Listen, she is a fashion girly. She is a very much beloved housewife. She could go out there and do just about any job. Like, she is likable. She's well-spoken. She is beautiful. She is she's fashionable in like her dress and her clothes, but she's also very knowledgeable on fashion itself and history of it. And you can tell that she loves it. So I think she would be an amazing like fashion correspondent or anything like that. Okay, so Jack is barking at something. You're just gonna hear him barking for the rest of the time. I tried to get him to stop. He will not. Okay, so Meredith and Heather. Heather says that they can be friends if Meredith can take accountability. So they're never gonna be friends. Meredith throws production under the bus for bad edits. Like specifically, she's talking about when they're in Greece and Meredith picks up the phone, answers the phone to talk to Brooks. She throws production under the bus and everybody's pissed about that, which I don't blame them. I mean, listen, editing, the production team, if you didn't have them, there wouldn't be a show. The question, they were then talking about the lunch that, who was it? That Bronwyn, Mary, and Whitney had in Greece. And the discussion was centered around Meredith and their concerns for Meredith. And Meredith said she was sad that the ladies were concerned, which, because she said there's no truth to what they were saying. It didn't sound like they were concerned. It sounded like they were accusing me of something. And they were all like, all three of them were like, we were not accusing you of anything. But listen, why would you be sad that they were concerned? If someone is concerned for you or for your well-being, then that means they like you. No one's ever concerned. Like, listen, there's people that I just don't like. And I'm not concerned for their well-being. I don't like them. So why am I concerned? I'm not. If they're concerned, then that means that they care about you. Okay. Now this was the back and forth that got me. And this is where Bronwyn completely ate in this back and forth with Meredith. Meredith was just like, oh, what? So Meredith said to Bronwyn, I never said anything about your marriage. And Bronwyn was like, sure, you didn't say anything about my marriage. However, when your bestie over here, Lisa, was coming for my marriage and was talking about my husband, you didn't say anything to stop it. So, that Lisa's running my marriage down and you don't say anything. But so it's okay for her to talk about my marriage, but when this one over here, Brittany, says something about Seth and your marriage, all of a sudden that's too far. And you have to start screaming and that's wrong. That's wrong when somebody talks about your marriage. But my marriage is fine. And Meredith then says, well, why would I say anything? And Bronwyn says, because I thought we were friends. But listen, Bronwyn was just an assistant. Bronwyn was a tool to get more information. She says, I thought we were friends. Turns out I was an assistant. And Meredith is like, well, you weren't an assistant. I didn't ask you to do much. And she says, no, you didn't ask me to do much except to report back to you on what the ladies were saying. And then you, to report back for what the ladies were saying, sit there and eat shit and then throw me under the bus. Which, that's exactly what she did. But here's the best thing, the best part. Oh, and also when she had said, you call me into your room and the conversation is not recorded. You do that on purpose. The conversation's not recorded. So we can't play it back to show that you're lying about this shit. And then Meredith is, all quiet. Lisa, and here's the crazy thing. Lisa is now not jumping in because she knows she can't go up against Bronwyn. She tried it in the beginning of the season and it didn't work. But when Bronwyn was like, why are you above having a hard conversation? Sit the fuck down and talk about it. And she's like, don't you dare talk to me like that. She's like, I'll talk to you however that if I want to talk to you. Because that's how you talk to me. And that's it. And that's it. When she was like, sit the F down. I'm going to talk to you how I want to talk to you. I was like, oh. So then Meredith apologized because she's like, I never meant for it to make you feel used, because she was like, I do feel used. Bronwyn accepts. Listen, this whole thing with calling Brittany an alcoholic in that flashback when Meredith is in the tub and her and Lisa are talking, and Lisa says, it was a joke. It was a joke. And Lisa just says, well, she's an alcoholic. I don't think that's funny. Bronwyn was like, that's not funny. That's not funny at all. Listen, there's people who are going through AA and do 12 steps and have been sober for like years, if not decades. And it's very serious to them. It is not a joke. So for her to be laughing, or like during the season, I don't know why I was like, whoop. And during the season, she was all like, oh, like I said alky, so it's funny, but it's really not. So, okay, so listen, if you watched, please let me know what you thought. I'm sad that it's over. But they did show a preview of Real Housewives of, I was going to say New England, Rhode Island. I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for that. That is giving me kind of like early New Jersey, early Real Housewives of New Jersey vibes. And also a new Ladies of London is coming. I did not watch the first Ladies of London, but I'm going to watch the second one. I cannot wait. So yeah, tell me what you thought. And that's a wrap for the Sisters of Salt, the Sisters of Salt Lake City. So listen, if nobody told you yet today you were loved, seen, and heard, please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. So it comes right back at you. Please, let's treat others the way we would want to be treated. And let's also spread kindness because it is free. Please be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Let's hydrate with water always. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy your way so you make it through. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. And we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Hopefully tomorrow. All right. I will see you. Have a great evening and a great Friday. We're almost to Friday and almost the weekend. All right. Love you guys. Have a great one.